am the fourth born in my family. My father is Chumo, of Chumo age set. My mother is of, even we have age sets for females or for women. So my father is of the age set of Chumo, who was, his father was Kimnyeke. And my mother belongs to the age set of Chepungwek. Chepungwek. That is the age set of the female or women. So my father never went to school. My mother never went to school. And we lived in a place called Sokon. And I believe you have been to Sokon. This is a place that is created, it is like a plate. When you are down there, every direction you take, you climb. And when you coming back in the evening, you drop, you are going down. So it is like what happened in Baringo as a whole. Development started at the highlands. And then it went down to the valley. That is how the word of God moved. But this thing called Kurket, in fact, the escarpment, you go Limo all the way from here, Kipoino. You go around Kapkalelwa, you come Tenges down, and all the way up to Pokot, and the other side. These are the places where development came later, 50s, 60s, and 70s. But even up to now, those are the places where there are no roads. So my family, nobody, even my elder sister did not go to school. My second brother did not go to school. The third one went to school. 1961, I followed him to school. When I came back in the evening, I was caned by my father, seriously. He told me, you are this one, your elder brother, this one, the one I was following. I have decided he will go to school, but you have to take care of my coats. Going to school, it is like taking children away from idleness. So there was nothing so special that my father had seen in education. And furthermore, there are some very bad experiences my father had with these people called Kipsukulin, the people who went to church, the people who went to school. There are some negative experiences he got. So he told me, you are not going to school. That means taking care of the animals was valued more than education. So you have to decide which child goes to school and who will remain, because the animals was the source of living. Nobody had known by then in my village that education can come with a better life. One measure is that the parents of my father died when he was young in Kapchepkor. My grandfather was hit by a thunder, and so he died. So when he died, the cousins and other relatives mistreated him. He had no sister, no brother. So they mistreated. Later, they corrupted Islam. They grabbed this land, they took, and so he was.
And they were supposedly Christians.
Yeah, later, Christians came. And that is 1957. They put a school in Kapchipkor. And where that school was built was on East Yamba with other people. And then 70s, when there was this demarcation of land, when he came, he said, now, can I have get the acreage of my shamba? So he was told no. So, and the people who were doing all this were Christians. So that is why he didn't have, he was not positive about them. So anyway, to cut the story short, so 1960, I think it was 60 or 61, when say he picked me and he said, don't ever attempt to go to school, because you are the one I've decided to take care of our courts. So I stayed. 1962, we went for initiation. 63, me nikatoka. 63, 64, I left home to go and look for a job. I came to Kaptumo. I worked for, I believe you saw him, Kukop Savaniha. That is the grandfather to Murkor at Kaptumo. So I worked for taking care of their cows. And he was paying me, I was being paid 4 shillings a month. So that means I was working for 1 shilling a week. So I worked for 6 months. So that was a lot of money then, because I remember my first salary, I bought a short trouser and a shirt, which I paid 3 shillings and 50 cents for the two. And I had 50 cents. And I remember I went to Talai with a friend. We took tea. By then, our class was 10 cents. And Mamuri was 10 cents. So he took our glass of tea and Mamuri. And I took our glass and Mamuri. I gave 50 cents, and still I got a change. I was given change. So 1964, in fact, I still remember, 64, it was on a Sunday, 14th of December, 1964. I came to Bargoret's home. I think it was on a Sunday. Ugo Kapiemonin, you know that one. So I came there, and I worked for that 1 month. 65 came, and Barkurit was working in Narok. So he came home January briefly, because it was time for people to prepare the shamba. So he came, and I was his cook. So as I was cooking in the evening, there was a kitchen, I think you saw, around Nyumba ya Nyasi. So as I was cooking, he was listening to news. And he asked me, do you understand this news? I told him no. I said, do you like going to school? I told him yes.
That was on the radio?
Yeah, on the radio. KBC, was it?
VOK.
VOK, yeah. Voice of Kenya. Yeah. So he told me now, from Monday, what to do, you will be going to school in the morning, and then come back in the afternoon. You come and take care of the animals. He had some few goats and few sheep. So you come and, so that is how I went to school. And by then, I think I was almost 17 years old. So I went to school. I went to school, that was 65, 66. Second term, my elder brother came and he told me, let's go to El Cayo. There is good work there. So I did not even think so much of schooling. So I followed him. I went to work in Chepkoria for 3 months, and then I went to El Cayo border. I went to work with somebody called William Siwa. And by then, this guy was drinking. His wife was making changa. I went to work. I was hard working. So I worked there, and that man was sickly. So I worked for 1 year. At the end, one time, after 1 year, my brother arrived. He told me now, parents at home are complaining, because how can a young person get lost for 1 year? So he was told, you must bring him, or we are sure you might have sold him, because that is what they believe by then. So he brought me. When I came home, 1960, that is in August 67, I arrived home. When I was in LK, I was making changa. I used to make changa, and I used to go with that old man for drinks. I was smoking, because the wife of that home was also smoking. So when I can buy cigarettes for her, I buy for her, and then I buy mine. So I come and light, I give her, and then mine, I smoke. When I arrived home, all my age mates had gone to school. At home, no young people were allowed to go for busa. So I got lost. 68, I decided to go back to school. That is when now I met Enoch Chebet, who was the head teacher in the lie. And he was even when I left the school. So when I went to see him, I was tall, very rough. I went to request, I told him, please, Mwalimu, I'm requesting to come back to school. So he looked at me and he said, are you going to make it in school? I told him, yes, sir, I'm going to work hard. And I am specifically asking for standard 3. He looked at me, he told me, do you know where you left the schooling? Yes, in the second term. So he told me now, oh, okay. He looked at me, asked me some few questions, and he said, okay. So I went to prepare. Monday, I came to school. By then, I was still smoking. And I remember there was a team, we used to smoke together. So I go to this road, there is a place called Kipsesat. So I go and smoke there. And then I hit, there is a plant called Seweshion. So I get that, it has got a very good perfume. So I smoke, and then I get that plant, the leaves, I chew, then come back to school. And many times others were caught, and they were beaten seriously by Enoch. But I was watching them with a lot of worries that maybe somebody will mention me.
I'm happy to mention something to do with Reverend Chirchir. He was one of our students in Talai Primary School, between 1967 to late 70s. He came to school when he was a grown-up person. He has been circumcised. He's the age of Gorongoro. So he was among those people who were senior enough. But then because we like the school, we like the students, they wanted to come to school, I admitted him to join the school because he came from Wasingishu. And then he said, Mwalimu, I want to join you to learn. I told him, fair enough, come, join us in the school. So he started joining. He became a very good student in the school. He worked hard in his school, and then later on he became a Christian. When he became a Christian, he was one of those people I liked very much because, one, he liked singing. We used to move from sometimes during when the late president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, was in Nakuru. We used to go to entertain him. He was one of the best students to sing, soloist in those areas of school. So he continued singing. Rev Chirchir became one of the young Christians in the school who were committed to the Word of God. At the same time, he became committed in his classwork until he finished the school, and then he asked if he can join the Bible college. We requested, we said yes, fair enough. Let him go to Kapsabet Bible College. He went there after finishing his standard 7th class. So that is the life of Reverend Chirchir, who became very committed person in his own work, very obedient.